6 exercises recommended by doctors to recover muscles at 60 and eliminate sarcopenia. Have you noticed how easy and comfortable it is to accept weakness as destiny? Most people believe that losing muscle and becoming frail after 60 is just a natural part of aging. And it's exactly this silent resignation that's slowly killing you. When you believe there's nothing to be done, it simply seems natural to stop acting. That's when the real collapse begins. Sarcopenia, this brutal loss of muscle mass, isn't just aesthetic. Studies from the World Health Organization reveal that after 60, you can lose up to 6% of muscle per year. This means that in a decade, you could have lost about half of your strength. The consequences? Falls that fracture bones, inability to perform basic tasks alone, total dependence on other people, and a 3 times higher risk of premature death. The good part is that your body, even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, still has an extraordinary capacity for muscle regeneration when it receives the correct stimulus. That's why today you'll see the 6 exercises recommended by doctors to eliminate sarcopenia and restore the strength you thought you'd lost forever. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Exercise number 6. Static march with knee elevation. This exercise works mainly the quadriceps, hip flexors, and core essential muscle groups for your daily independence. Think about it. When these muscles weaken, climbing stairs becomes a challenge, getting up from a chair requires support, and even walking short distances becomes exhausting. Static march with knee elevation improves your dynamic balance, strengthens leg muscles, and maintains hip mobility, 3 crucial factors for preventing falls. Additionally, this movement increases your heart rate safely, promoting cardiovascular benefits without the joint impact that running would cause. 2. Execute correctly. Stand with your feet aligned with your shoulders, keep your back straight and your gaze fixed forward. Raise one knee until your thigh is parallel to the floor or as close to that as you can manage without losing balance. Then lower your foot back to the ground with control and repeat the movement with the other leg, alternating continuously as if you were marching in place. Keep your arms in natural movement, swinging in opposition to your legs to help with balance. A valuable tip is to start near a wall or sturdy chair, using this support only if necessary, while you develop confidence in the movement. The main errors to avoid are leaning your torso forward when raising the knee, as this overloads the lower back and reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. Raising the knee hastily, losing control and balance, and holding your breath during the movement when you should breathe naturally and continuously. Start with 3 sets of 20 alternating repetitions. That is 10 elevations with each leg, resting 45 to 60 seconds between sets. As you gain strength and confidence, increase to 30 or 40 repetitions per set. This exercise has practically no contraindications, but if you have severe balance problems or intense vertigo, always keep one hand supported on a fixed support throughout the entire execution. Exercise number 5. Wall push-ups. Wall push-ups work mainly the pectorals, anterior deltoids, and triceps, fundamental muscles for pushing doors, getting up from surfaces, and performing daily tasks that involve pushing objects. When these upper body muscles weaken, simple activities like getting up from the couch, pushing a shopping cart, or opening a heavy window become real challenges that erode your autonomy. This exercise strengthens the entire anterior muscle chain of the body without overloading the shoulders or wrists as traditional floor push-ups would. To execute correctly, position yourself facing a wall at approximately 24 inches away. Place your palms on the wall at chest height with your fingers pointing up and arms extended. Keep your feet fixed on the floor and your body completely aligned from head to feet, forming a straight line. Flex your elbows slowly, bringing your chest toward the wall while inhaling, keeping your core contracted to prevent your hips from projecting forward. When your nose almost touches the wall, push back to the starting position, exhaling during the arm extension movement. The secret is to keep your body rigid like a plank during the entire movement, without breaking at the hip region. A natural progression is to gradually move your feet away from the wall, increasing the difficulty as you gain strength. The main errors to avoid are letting your hips project forward, losing body alignment, performing the movement too quickly without controlling the eccentric and concentric phases which are fundamental for strength gain, and positioning your hands too wide or too narrow instead of maintaining shoulder width. Perform 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 repetitions, resting 60 seconds between sets. This exercise is safe for practically everyone, but if you have recent shoulder or wrist injuries, start with reduced range of motion and increase progressively as the joint adapts. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress with health in the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Exercise number 4, lateral raise with improvised weight. This movement works mainly the lateral and middle deltoids, muscles responsible for raising your arms to the sides and essential for reaching objects on high shelves, dressing yourself, or combing your hair. When shoulders lose strength, your range of motion decreases drastically, and tasks that involve raising your arms above chest level become painful or impossible, stealing your independence. In the most basic activities, lateral raises specifically strengthen this musculature while improving shoulder joint stability, one of the most complex and injury-prone joints in the human body. To execute, hold a light weight in each hand. It can be a 17 fluid-ounce water bottle, food cans, or 2 to 4 pound dumbbells. Stand with your feet aligned with your shoulders, arms at your sides with a slight bend in your elbows. Keep your back straight and core contracted. Raise your arms laterally to shoulder height, pausing for 1 second at the top of the movement, then slowly lower to the starting position, controlling the entire path. The movement should be fluid and controlled. Never use momentum by swaying your body. An important tip is to imagine you're pouring water from 2 pitchers, slightly rotating your wrists so that your pinky is slightly higher than your thumb at the top of the movement. This maximizes lateral deltoid recruitment. Do 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, resting 45 to 60 seconds between sets. As you gain strength, gradually increase the weight instead of drastically increasing repetitions. The main errors to avoid are raising your shoulders along with your arms, creating unnecessary tension in the trapezius and neck, using excessive weight that forces you to swing your body to complete the movement, and raising your arms well above shoulder line, which transfers the work to the upper trapezius. If you have shoulder tendinitis or bursitis, avoid this exercise until the inflammation resolves, as lateral raising movements can aggravate these conditions. Exercise number 3, single leg balance. This exercise works mainly the ankle stabilizers, calf muscles, gluteus medius, and entire core, being fundamental for preventing falls, which are the main cause of fractures and loss of independence after 60. When your balance deteriorates, each step becomes a potential threat. You hesitate when walking on irregular surfaces. Avoid stairs and live in constant fear of tripping. To execute correctly, stand near a wall or sturdy chair that you can use as support if necessary. Transfer all your weight to one leg, keeping the knee slightly bent, never fully locked. Raise the other leg by bending the knee until your foot is a few inches above the ground. Keep your gaze fixed on a point ahead. This helps tremendously with balance. Keep your arms at your sides or slightly apart to assist with balance. The goal is to maintain this stable position, feeling the small adjustments your ankle and foot constantly make to keep you balanced. A natural progression is to start by holding lightly onto the support, then just touching with your fingertips, next without any support, and eventually closing your eyes to increase the challenge even more when you're very confident. The main errors to avoid are completely locking the knee of the supporting leg, creating unnecessary stress on the joint, excessively tensing the upper body, instead of keeping shoulders and neck relaxed and swinging the elevated leg back and forth, losing focus on stabilization. Start by holding the position for 20 to 30 seconds on each leg, completing 3 repetitions on each side with 30 seconds of rest between them. As you improve, progressively increase to holding for 60 seconds or more. This exercise has very low risk, but if you have severe vertigo or acute labyrinthitis, always practice with firm support available and consider doing it under supervision initially. Exercise number 2, chair squat. Chair squats intensely work the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and spinal erectors, being considered the king of lower body exercises. When these muscles weaken, you lose the ability to get up from chairs or toilets without help. Climbing stairs becomes torture, and the risk of falls increases exponentially because your legs can no longer support you adequately. The gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the human body, and keeping it strong after 60 is absolutely essential, not only for mobility, but also for lower back protection. To execute correctly, position a sturdy chair behind you, stand with your back to it with your feet apart at shoulder width and slightly rotated outward. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Keeping your back straight and chest elevated, flex your knees and hips simultaneously, as if you were going to sit, pushing your hips back. Descend slowly until your hips lightly touch the seat of the chair, pausing for 1 second. Then push through your heels to return to the starting position, without actually sitting completely on the chair. The movement should be controlled both on the descent and ascent. Perform 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, resting 60 to 90 seconds between sets. When this movement becomes easy, progress by using a lower chair or holding a light weight against your chest. The main errors to avoid are letting your knees collapse inward during the movement instead of keeping them aligned with your feet, excessively tilting your torso forward, losing the upright posture of your spine, and descending too quickly without control, letting yourself fall onto the chair. If you have serious knee problems like severe osteoarthritis, consult a physical therapist to assess whether this exercise is appropriate or if it needs specific modifications for your condition. Exercise number 1, calf raises. This exercise specifically works the calf muscles, the gastrocnemius and soleus, frequently neglected muscles but absolutely vital for your health. The calf is known as the body's second heart because it pumps blood back to the heart against the force of gravity through its contractions, preventing leg swelling and circulatory problems. When calves weaken, your balance is drastically compromised because these muscles are fundamental for controlling ankle movements that keep you stable when walking, and each step becomes less secure, increasing the risk of falls and sprains. To execute correctly, stand with your feet aligned with your shoulders, holding onto a wall or chair for balance. If possible, position the front part of your feet on a step, leaving your heels suspended in the air. This allows greater range of motion and more intense muscular activation. Keep your knees slightly bent, never completely locked. Rise up onto your toes as high as possible, intensely contracting your calves at the top of the movement and holding this contraction for 2 seconds. Then slowly descend until your heels are below the level of your toes if you're on a step, feeling a stretch in the back of your leg. The calf is composed predominantly of slow twitch muscle fibers, so it responds better to longer sets with a higher number of repetitions instead of heavy loads. Perform 3 to 4 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions, resting 45 seconds between sets. When it becomes easy, progress by executing the movement on just one leg at a time instead of increasing weight. The main errors to avoid are performing the movement with excessive speed, using momentum instead of controlled muscular contraction, not achieving full range of motion, both in the elevation and stretch, and keeping your knees completely locked during the exercise, creating unnecessary stress on the joint. If you have plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis, execute this movement with reduced range of motion and progress gradually, avoiding the deep stretch that can aggravate these conditions. Bonus exercise, wall plank. If you do these 6 exercises consistently, you'll already see a huge change in your body and your daily life. But here's one more exercise to further complete your development. Wall plank works mainly the core, including the rectus abdominis, obliques, and spinal erectors, while also recruiting the shoulders, pectorals, and quadriceps to a lesser intensity. Strengthening the core is absolutely essential because these muscles are responsible for stabilizing your spine in absolutely all movements you perform daily. When the core weakens, lower back pain appears, your posture deteriorates, and even simple tasks like carrying bags or picking up objects from the floor become risky and can result in injuries that leave you immobilized for weeks. To execute correctly, stand facing a wall at approximately 24 to 32 inches away. Place your hands on the wall slightly below shoulder height, with arms extended but not locked. Position your feet together or slightly apart. Keep your body completely aligned from head to feet, forming a straight line without letting your hips project forward or backward. Intensely contract your abdomen as if you were preparing to receive a punch. Also contract your glutes and maintain this total body tension throughout the entire exercise. Your weight should be distributed between your hands on the wall and your feet on the floor. Maintain normal and continuous breathing. Never hold your breath. A natural progression is to gradually move your feet away from the wall, increasing the body angle and consequently the difficulty of the exercise, until eventually being able to do the traditional plank on the floor when you're sufficiently strong. The main errors to avoid are letting your hips drop, creating an excessive curve in the lower back that overloads the spine, raising your hips too high, forming an inverted V with your body instead of maintaining a straight line, and excessively tensing your shoulders, raising them toward your ears instead of keeping them relaxed and apart. Start by holding the position for 20 to 30 seconds, completing 3 repetitions with 30 to 40 seconds of rest between them. As you develop core strength, progressively increase to holding for 60 seconds or more. This exercise is extremely safe, but if you have a lumbar disc herniation or acute lower back pain, consult a doctor or physical therapist before starting this movement to ensure it's appropriate for your specific condition. If you enjoyed this and want to also discover the 6 exercises used by the Japanese to double leg strength even after 60, 70, or even 80 years old, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them better. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.